Okay, this is number 15 from the practice midterm. Find the derivative of the algebraic function f of x equals x to the fourth times the quantity 1 minus 6 over x plus 5. I've written down here the product rule. The derivative with respect to x of f of x times g of x is f of x times g prime of x plus g prime of x times g of x times f prime of x. Meaning you had the first one as it sits times the derivative of the second plus the second as it sits times the derivative of the first. So also the chain rule, the derivative with respect to x of f of g of x would be f prime of g of x, so that's the derivative of the outside function, times then the derivative of the inside function. Now, one more I probably should have written down, and I'm looking at this problem, I'm going to recall the quotient rule. And that would be, okay, I decided to write it in black, write it pause so it's in black instead of green. But ddx of f of x over g of x is g of x times f prime of x minus f prime of x, or f of x times g prime of x, all over g of x squared. So a couple ways to think about that. That's the denominator times the derivative of the numerator. Oh, you need to keep the pen away from that. Minus the numerator times the derivative of the denominator, all over the denominator squared. Now, I hope that's not too messy with lines that my pen put in there. I didn't draw those lines. Anyway, so put all this together. Another way to look at that is low d high minus high d low, square the bottom, and off we go. Anyway, let's just go ahead and go forward with this problem. So our f of x is x to the fourth times 1 minus 6 over x plus 5. So if we take the derivative, let's just check what's the derivative with respect to x of x to the fourth. That would just be 4x cubed. And the derivative with respect to x of 1 minus 6 over x plus 5. I guess I don't really need the quotient rule, but whatever, we're here. So the derivative of 1 is 0, minus, and then 6 is just a coefficient, so 6 over, ready for this one, x plus 5 is going to be squared down below. So it was a negative 1 power, that makes it negative 2 power, but times negative 1 because that was the power of what we had. Let me write this another way. This is the derivative with respect to x of 1 minus 6 times x plus 5 to the negative 1. Which again is 0 because the derivative of 1 is 0. Minus 6 times what? Well, we've got a negative 1 as the power. And then we're going to multiply that by our x plus 5 to the negative 2 power. So that is going to give us, excuse me, positive 6 over x plus 5 squared. So with that, our derivative, f prime of x, is going to be our x to the fourth times this 6 over x plus 5 squared plus 4x cubed times quantity 1 minus 6 over x plus 5. This doesn't look exactly like what we have in the answer, but we can get there. So think of it this way. We have a 6x to the fourth over x plus 5 squared. And notice the denominator in the answer they have has the x plus 5 squared. Plus 4x cubed times 1 minus 6 over x plus 5. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to multiply this x plus 5 by x plus 5 over x plus 5, give us an x plus 5 squared. And at this 1, kind of wish I gave myself more space, x plus 5 squared over x plus 5 squared. The idea is that we have x plus 5 squared as the common denominator. So we'd have 6x to the 4th plus 4x cubed times x plus 5 squared minus 6 times x plus 5 all over x plus 5 squared. Now we're going to distribute and clean this up a little bit. Oh, I forgot my x plus 5 squared here. So we'll have 6x to the 4th over x plus 5 squared plus 4x cubed times, if I distribute that x plus 5 squared, I'm going to end up with x squared plus 10x plus 25, get out of space here, minus 6x minus 30. All over x plus 5 squared. So we have a 6x to the 4th over x plus 5 squared plus, and 4x cubed times x squared is 4x to the 5th power. 4x cubed times 10x is, looks like that's 40x to the 4th power. Four x cubed times 25 is 100x cubed. 4x cubed times minus 6x is minus 24x to the 4th. And then 4x cubed times minus 30 is minus 120x cubed over x plus 5 squared. Okay, so I think we can see we're going to have the same denominator as x plus 5 squared. Our biggest power is 4x to the 5th. I have a 6x to the 4th plus 40x to the 4th minus 24. So 46 minus 24, I believe, would be 22x to the 4th. And then I have 100x cubed minus 120x cubed, so it'll be minus 20x cubed all over x plus 5 squared. Now they just factor out an x cubed, so doing that would be x cubed times 4x squared plus 22x minus 20 all over x plus 5 squared. Now I would have factored out a 2 as well, but they didn't. So anyway, that's pretty much their answer there.